Well, we're here up in Chris's room, which is
the yellow room.
The yellow room, which is a lot less yellow than it used to be. It's a little yellow left over there, but that's what's left of the wallpaper on June 7th, and that's will be going. That's just simply because the bed's still in the way. But boy, oh boy, we've making some progress, pulling that off, repairing any of the there were several of the joints that needed repairing, so we're doing that. Got a little paint testing, color testing. Do we know what color over here?
Green.
Green. Which one's the green? I don't know.
It'll be a surprise.
Okay, we'll have a surprise color, but yep, we are definitely making some progress. So next, you're going to be like texturing these walls.
Yeah, these walls. These walls are ready.
These walls are ready to texture. Ultimately, we'll probably do the ceiling too, because we're having to slop over into that, and there's a few places to repair there. So it's coming along. All right, on the 9th of June, we got a little progress report for the farm report. I got 3 lines across the barn lane drive. One is that irrigation line that's hooked to the hose there. That's the one we wanted to start off with. And then I put in a dummy line, just in case I want to do this again someday. I'll have a pipe down there. For right now it's serving no purpose, it's just capped on either end. But I won't have to dig the whole thing again. It's like, as long as the pit's open, another $10. It's worth the effort. And then I got the electrical that comes over from the barn, stops here. Well, it stops going overhead here, comes down, converts to this underground cable, and I went ahead and encased that in a conduit, just because this area over here gets driven over, and it's good and deep, but again, extra $10. I don't want to dig this again. So now at least where we drive, there's no more overhead cable going from the tree across. The cable comes out of the pipe on this end and feeds the electric fence down there, and everybody's happy. So I also got this bit of stray Romex enclosed in some conduit, and I'm not sure what that's hooked. It's not hooked up to anything. It's not live, obviously, or I wouldn't be playing with it, or I wouldn't be live. But yeah, when I get done, I'll probably put an electrical box up there and just cover it, have it be a stub. Someday I'll figure out what it goes to. Somebody got out into the forest, didn't they? And then got spooked all the way down beyond the keys there, because the truck came along doing his job. And are we doing our job? Now let's go back in the gate, boys. Well, we're home from the logging road cattle drive, and not very happy about it, because I hear the food's better across the other side of the fence. Is that right, Pumbaa? Is the food better over there? You want those kind of eats here? Moo. Buddy, who I think is probably the instigator of the unintended cattle drive yesterday. So I'm working down here, and I see a starker worker passing by on the forest road up at the top of the pasture on the other side of the fence, obviously. And I see a couple of herd of cattle running right in front of him down here, and he's going real slow, and those cattle just run down the road, running this way, and I'm like, uh-oh, they look like they're on the other side of the fence. Sometimes they'll run along and play with people on the road, but no, this looked like they were on the other side of the fence. And so I go up there, I ran up there, and sure enough, there they were, and the truck was kind of over behind the Keys house at this point. And I was up there. I'd stopped to grab the little obedience stick that I have, and the electric one. And I was chasing after this truck, waving my arms in the air, and I'm sure he had his windows rolled up, running his air conditioner. He couldn't hear nothing. Finally, he must have looked in the rearview mirror and stopped and waited for me, and I got up to there. I said, sorry about this, sorry about the delay. He says, oh, I thought they were just heading home. I said, no, opposite direction. So he was nice enough to back his truck up all the way down the road, and I didn't see him he must have gone on to some other job or something. And then I was finally able to reach Terry on the phone in the house, and she came out, and by then I'd coaxed Pumbaa down into the lot with, well, no, she brought up some feed, a box of feed. We can kind of rattle it around like the cat food box. But they were in seventh heaven up there. That's the trouble. It was hard to entice them with feed because they were getting everything they wanted up there, and then some, all sorts of a new, it was a smorgasbord up there of stuff they've not had before. So that was our exciting cattle drive yesterday. Anyway, Pumbaa finally was coaxed down, and he started to eat, and Buddy wasn't so sure. And I kind of think Buddy was the instigator. Now what they did was they went through our walk-through gate up there, and that's an old gate. It's deteriorating, and it's one of those things on my list to fix, but I haven't gotten there yet. But somehow they were able to yank the latch out of the wood. The screw just pulled out. The wood is rotting, and so now I have it wired shut for the time being. Makes it a little hard to go for walks, but we'll get to that sooner rather than later, won't we, boys? Lest we have another cattle drive up in the forest. Now, at the risk of sharing overly intimate information from our marriage, what I'm showing you here is what's left over of a hot date this morning. So, I mean, this might be a little steamy for YouTube, but, cover your children's ears. Terry and I went on a dump date. What's a dump date, you say? Oh, man, oh boy, the best thing a married couple can do. The night before, they load the truck and the trailer up, and they head out to breakfast the next morning, early the next morning. Get up, go out to breakfast together, and then on to the dump. Ooh, hot, steamy stuff, I know. So always a good feeling leaving the dump. Feel like we are leaving behind some sort of burdens. I mean, it's kind of like going to confession, really. You just kind of leave it all behind. And the trench project is all put back together. Seeing as how we're going to the dump and are getting rid of a lot of woven field wire, fence wire. Also got rid of this stretch that's been dilapidated for years and falling down, due to be replaced along the compost here. Dug all that out, so we'll be looking forward, hopefully later this summer, to replacing that with something nicer. Now you might wonder what this is all about here. Did the barn somehow collide with a paint store? Well, kind of. We're getting ready to paint the barn this summer, and Terry's experimenting with colors. She's down in the basement mixing like a chemist. Okay, well, we got one good row of corn coming up, and that's the pack I bought from the nursery. Whole row came up, real pretty. And then we had nothing. 3 rows of seed from Bi-Mart, and I am done with Bi-Mart seed, period. So, sorry Bi-Mart, you're our store for other stuff, but we're plowing under and starting over with other corn seed here. We'll have a late crop, but that's okay. Well, this is June 14th, first thing in the morning. It's wake up time in the barn, and we got some babies in the barn to check out. Well, not you guys. Good morning, Pumbaa. No, we got some babies way up here, and I don't know if we can roust them up. I think they're sound asleep. Hey, gang. Anybody home? Well, we got the animal kingdom over here in the corner right now. Two boys and a mama. And Mama Turkey just doesn't like to get off her nest as much anymore. I guess she's been, what has she got, maybe 3 weeks invested in sitting there. I don't blame her. So, well, we're just coming off a few rainy days, which we really needed. Going to help the pasture hopefully stay green a little longer. And down in the vineyard, this is the 14th of June. And so here's what we're looking like now. It's it definitely puts on a little bit of growth in a few weeks. And if you dig in, you can see the grapes are starting to form here and there. Some better than others. But you see, let's see, there you go. And let's give you a little frame of reference right now. So here we are. These are Concord grapes, and that's what those look like in the 14th of June. And I'm going to have to get in here in the next couple of weeks and trim out some of this foliage. Prune that back, do a little early summer pruning. Hopefully put the energy into those developing grapes. Now the cherries, on the other hand, they're coming along. They're still ripening, but they've definitely put on some size in the last couple of weeks. I was beginning to wonder a few weeks ago whether they were just going to be little pea-sized runts, but they're developing. Caught me a third mole in my, what's it called, gopher hawk mole trap. So yeah, I'm up to 3 on the scoreboard in what, 3-4 weeks now. And hopefully it looks like a plum good year for plums. Woohoo. Okay, we're out here behind the woodshed, and I'm not even in trouble, but I could be soon, who knows. And on June 17th, this morning, we're gonna do a little bit of concrete. So I got some footers dug, ready to go. Got a couple of rebars in there. One here, one over there. Got my post supports ready to go. And my fancy, John's a listener to the Farm Report. He'll appreciate. This is my sonotube for my concrete tube, which is gonna sit on top there and form a little extension. We'll see how that works. That's the redneck sonotube. Well, we're a bit before sunrise on June 19th, our new national holiday, and just booted the boys out for the morning, and look at all these wonderful field of little daisies. I'm out here behind the vineyard, and this is the fence that divides the main pasture from the back side. And I spent the last couple of days clearing out the blackberries along this side of the fence. Got a huge pile of blackberries ready to burn someday. But burn season is closed for the year now. Blackberries are not my favorite. There is said pile. Alright, our task this morning is to get these grapevines out of the aisles and up onto the trellises. I got these first couple of vines done on this side, and in addition to tying these up, I'm also thinning them out. And I don't really know much about how to prune grapes other than what the Bible done taught me about if a branch isn't producing any fruit, whack it off. So like this one here, you can see there's a cluster of grapes there. but as you follow it up, I go up a couple of leaves and then whack it off here because there's another few feet. Or you take this one here, this long, I haven't trimmed that yet, but all the way back to here. Actually, I don't see anything all the way back down on that one, so that one may go away. There's some fruit way down at this level on some other branches, but this one I don't even see any, so that might go away entirely. This one here has some fruit there, so I'll probably trim it, give it a leaf or two above the fruit and then trim it here. Well, seems Pumbaa's a little upset with Buddy because somebody forgot how to go down into the lower pasture. You forgot how. Buddy's over there. And how's Mama Turkey this morning? Hi, Mama Turkey. Oh, I know. Well, we'll leave you there. We won't boot you off this morning. Nothing's changed, has it? When are they gonna come? I think it's been a month you've been sitting there. I'll have to look it up in the Google Farmer's Almanac. How long do you have to sit there before your eggs hatch? These guys don't know what to think of each other, do they? Pumbaa kind of wants to be friends. I guess Mama Turkey isn't too interested in being your buddy, is she? Well, that wasn't quite neighborly, Mama Turkey. I don't blame you, Pumbaa. Ugh. That's what I'd say. Nuh. Try to be friendly and what happens? Huh. Kind of reminds me of Congress, I guess the fence would be the aisle, right? At the one side of the aisle and the other side, and that's what they do. Peck across the aisle. And meanwhile, what happens to their constituents back home? Left behind, unprotected, while you two just spit at each other, right? Yeah, you tell them. Moo. Seems like a good morning to harass your brother. That's just what brothers got to do, right, Kenny and Chris? Run around, harass each other, play a little bit. Be butt heads. Double butt heads. Well, I'm making some progress. At least now you can get through this row. But there's still plenty to do next door. The time has come. The harvest has begun. Started picking cherries yesterday. And if the birds don't beat us to them, wahoo. They did split a little this year. I looked that up, and that's common here in the Northwest. But when the cherries themselves get too wet, which we did have rain last week. Well, the rest of our vegetable garden's kind of putting along in early June, waiting for some momentum it hasn't quite got yet, but boy oh boy, at the edge of the garden, check out what's happening over here. Ooh wee. These old climbing roses are in bloom. Nice. Now, out here just inside the pasture out behind the barn, got a little bit of a wood pile going from the extra supplies, fence posts, and all that wood I took out of the, stored up above on the lumber racks of the woodshed. But this tree, amazing, probably about a 40-foot tree, and apparently some kind of cherry tree. Now the cherries aren't real big, just to give you a clue, they're probably more of the size of a small grape. But not bad. Now I'm not sure this is a actual bona fide cherry tree for eating, or if these are just ornamental. Maybe they're not supposed to be eaten at all, who knows. So if I'm not, if I don't post the next farm video, farm report, you guys will know what happened. Meanwhile, well, our cement should be set up by now, so it won't be long I can take off our redneck cement form here. Now I'm just spitballing here, but I'm guessing that that might not be the first time that a redneck cement form was used, because here's the post on the last post on the woodshed next to it, and this is where the new portion will start. I wanted to use separate supports for that, but as far as I know, that one's pretty solid. But doesn't that look like maybe it came out of the same type of high-tech cement form? Well, I'm out pruning grapes this morning, and these are my helpers. One here, one over there, waiting for handouts. Oh boy, morning treats. Treats are on already, huh? Yummy, yummy. Boy, don't have to think this over. There goes some grape trimmings. Good morning, boys. Well, I just wanted to point out this is where I knocked off something I found on Pumbaa this morning. Little brothers always seem to have a way of finding their revenge in the end. And when Pumbaa got up this morning, I found a big buddy-sized turd, you know, cow pie, in the middle of his back. The revenge of the little brother. Well, I figured it's time to stop and document what we're doing over here on the shed. A little bit of change of plan. I was going to screw on some short extensions to the joists. We're going to get 10-foot sections of roofing and then cut them in half and have them come out to 5 feet and just screw on these little extensions. But we had a change of heart at Home Depot the other day. We went in and all the 10-foot sections were gone, and we said, oh, do we have to special order them? They said, nope, we're not carrying those anymore. So now we're up to 12-foot sections. So we thought, well, with longer ones, maybe we'll do a little bit longer extension. But with the longer extension, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking I want to just replace the whole thing. So instead of doing little you know, extensions like that, we're into replacement. So I'm starting to pull these down and just put whole new single piece joists in. Okay, so this is June 24th, and I just finished up with the framing on the new roof on the barn. So, got mostly new joists, well, all new joists, and then I was able to use a little bit of Dad's old lumber with these cross members here that will support the metal roof will actually sit on. So here's what it looks like. John asked if there's enough headroom coming around this corner here, and as long as I'm not wearing a 10-gallon hat, I'm good. Wow, what a cool moon. Walking out this morning to put the boys out. A little bit of light on Friday, June 25th. Awesome. Well, I guess Mama Turkey can be an adopted farm animal. It's supposed to get hot here, and all she does is sit on that nest while she's over picking raspberries now. I wonder if that's a good place to sit. Didn't think about that. Anything good? She's just picking bugs out of the dirt. Anyway, it's supposed to be 110 in a couple of days, so we'll leave her a little water.